guys, how's it going and welcome back. Well, today is the showing of my MacBook collection, because eventually somebody's going to say, Kev, can you do us a video of all your collection of MacBooks? It's like, yeah, well, guess what? We already did that. Check out the video. Anyway, so what we have here, starting up at the top left side, we have a MacBook Air, and it is a mid-2013 Air, 13-inch with 4 gigs of RAM and 1.3 gigahertz dual-core i5 processor. The i5s, by the way, are phenomenally faster than the i3s, and they don't thermal throttle so easily. I'm still working on doing that. Anyways, it's running Big Sur. The RAM is not upgradable. However, the hard drive is, and I did upgrade it to a 256 gig hard drive that is like phenomenally faster than the stock Apple one that was in there. So next up on the list, we have to the right of it is my mid 17-inch 2009 MacBook Pro 2.8 gigahertz dual core i5, and it also received a 256 gig SSD as an upgrade. Didn't really need much for a hard drive in that one because it is my GarageBand machine for running my recording studio with, and any other music programs that I find that I like that I want to do work with. So that's its purpose in life and then what it does. Though it does have other programs obviously on it. You know, I wanted all these Macs to have all the normal software that would always come on them from Apple when it's a brand spanking new machine that you open up. Plus extras, of course. Anyways, next up, bottom left here, we have the mid-2013 MacBook Pro. It is a 2.5 gigahertz i5 dual core processor. It has a 500 gig SSD in it, as well as 8 gigs of RAM. Now it did come with 8, but somebody put the wrong speed of RAM in it, and it was giving me issues. So I bought the proper speed 2.4 gig modules, threw them in, and of course the SSD upgrade, because I had full intentions of running Windows 10 on this, and we will talk about that shortly as well. Last but not least is my 2007, late 2007, 13-inch with 2 gigs of RAM, 2.2 gigahertz dual-core processor, white MacBook. So that's a really funky machine. So the white MacBook is running Lion. We are running Catalina on the 2012 MacBook Pro, which, by the way, is apparently the top MacBook of all time. So if you can get a chance to get yourself on a mid-2012, do it. It was probably the last of the full upgradable ones too, because apparently the late version you could no longer, I think it was the RAM you couldn't upgrade, but you could still upgrade the hard drive. But it also had a Retina display put on it as well. None of these have Retina displays, by the way. The MacBook Pro came with 8 gigs, the 17-inch, but it got the SSD upgrade, and of course an SSD upgrade only on the Air, because you have never been able to upgrade the RAM on an Air. And I'm surprised at how well the Air actually runs with 4 gigs of RAM at Big Sur. It's very impressive compared to the 2020 MacBook Air that I had, which was a i3 processor at 1.1 gigahertz, and yeah, that thing thermal throttled. All you had to do was breathe on it, and yeah, it would thermal throttle. It was a nightmare machine. That's also on my channel, so it went back. But this is my current MacBook collection. So what have I got invested in all this? Not as much as you might think. I paid $320 in tax for the MacBook Air. Got it at a pawn shop. The 2012 MacBook Pro, same hawk shop, paid $300 in tax for it. The 17-inch MacBook Pro, I paid $50 for, which was a private deal. And of course, at Value Village, for a whole whopping $5 in tax, I got the white MacBook. It was listed as non-working, and of course the battery was deader than a doornail. And so I got it home, and I took the charger from my 2012 and put it on there, and the battery took a charge. And it charged up to 100%, and I ran a battery program actually on all of these to keep an eye on the battery health statistics, And for even having well over 1,000 cycles on the white MacBook, it has still got a capacity rating of 100% health, which is actually unheard of. So it's kind of like, wow. And I have even tested that with not having the power plugged in, and yeah, it runs for hours. It's crazy. But what's the purpose for all these MacBooks? Well, the Air, let's start with it anyways. The purpose for the Air, we still haven't really figured it out, other than to see if we could make it thermal throttle, because as many of you know, older tech tends to be more solid and better than newer tech these days in a lot of ways, okay? Not necessarily faster, but definitely more solid. And I have not been able to thermal throttle this MacBook Air yet. I'm kind of like part happy and part disappointed. Mind you, I am running the fans in these things up a little higher. I'm running them around 4,000 to 4,500 RPM, and that seems to work fantastic. The 2020 Air, didn't matter what I did with the fan, it couldn't cool on a good day, you know, so it's kind of like, I don't know what was with that thing. Just a really poor design of the 2020 Air. Things have changed, of course. Things got a little bit thinner because going from USB port Type A's to Thunderbolts, they can shave thickness off, and that compresses stuff more. They do other things to shave this and shave that for size, and it's just, you know, you can only do something so much, and cooling systems just don't work. I think that was probably the biggest problem with that Air, other than the fact it had an i3 1.1, which really sucked. This i5 at 1.3, really fast. So I'm very impressed with how well it even runs Big Sur with 4 gigs. Because even the 2020 Air with 8 gigs running Big Sur wasn't really the greatest. Anyways, so we still haven't fully decided its actual purpose in life, other than surfing the internet on the couch, maybe doing a little bit of light gaming on it, sitting on the couch, and that's about it so far. Other than I'm still doing, like I said, more testing to see what it's going to take to thermal throttle that thing with the fans up. Anyways, the 2009 17-inch MacBook Pro beside it, its purpose in life is one program, GarageBand. Runs my recording studio. Okay, so I can do all my stuff on it. It works absolutely glitch-free. I have 0 issues. Quite happy with it. Now, the Air can still go on the internet fine because of Big Sur. The 2009 MacBook Pro is only pretty much safe to go on with the App Store with, to get apps from the App Store. There are still a ton of programs on the App Store that will run under El Capitan, which has not been supported in years. Okay, but that's my purpose for that Pro, and I only paid $50 for it, so I can't really complain. I paid $320 for the Air. The MacBook Pro down below here, the 13-inch, you know, it received proper speed RAM, so that cured that problem. Received a 500 gig SSD drive. Now there is a 256 gig SSD drive in the 2009 Pro. That's all I need in that. Now this is running Catalina on the 2012. And they say that if you're going to pick up any MacBook Pro, especially the older ones, go after the 2012. It was like the best MacBook Pro Apple ever made, right? And it's kind of like, well, whatever. I got one, so yay! Who cares? I don't. But it's a computer. That's all I care about, as long as it does what I need to do. But it got a 500 gig drive, proper 8 gigs worth of RAM. I can take it to 16 gigs, you know, which is kind of nice. I'm not sure if I really want to do it because it's running fine with Catalina. Catalina is still currently being supported with security updates, so you're still good to surf on the net with it. You know, no problem there. And we're supposed to still continue to see updates for Catalina until 2022 of the summer of 2022, so it's alright. But I use this as a gaming rig for Mac program for networking, but more primarily for Windows 10 networking video games of older games that me and my buddy play. So, and I use it for surfing and whatnot. But I have GarageBand and all the same programs pretty much in all these Macs, so just because I like to have them loaded that way. especially on the factory side of what you would normally get on your computer when you open that box for the first time, going, it's a Mac. Okay, so I set them up that way. Now, the 2007, now that sucker is definitely off the net other than the App Store. And it's running Lion, okay? It's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, it can go to 6. But 2 gigs, even with Lion, is fantastic with it, and even the programs I am running on it are running just great. You know, so I'm quite happy with that. I may take it to 6 gigs. I would like to actually max it out. Now, it did not get an SSD upgrade, but it did get a 500 gig mechanical drive put into it, and it doesn't need an SSD, though I can put one in. It's just a matter of pulling the other one out and slapping an SSD in. Like, it's too easy. Even upgrading the RAM, way too easy. Now, all of these have great batteries. All of them work absolutely perfect, with the exception of the 2012 MacBook Pro. I'm having some issues with the Wi-Fi on it. It's the only one that doesn't seem to want to connect past 21 megabits per second to my router. The rest of them can go to 300, and it's like, okay, I know that this network card should be running quicker. And I've been looking into it, and it's one of 3 things. It's either the ribbon between the motherboard and the card, because it's one of those combo cards, Airport Express Bluetooth cards. It's either the ribbon, the card, or it could be the antenna wires. I'm really hoping it's just the ribbon or the card. So I ordered a new ribbon for it. So when that comes in, I'm going to install that and see if that fixes the problem. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to try a new network card, because it is possible that the network card is dying. And if that doesn't fix it, well, then it's definitely the antennas, and then I have to really decide how far much more do I want to take this. You know, because it's kind of, it gets to a point of, is it worth me doing it? You know, because I do use it on Wi-Fi at home, but I plug it into the Ethernet bus at my buddy's place. So I'm kind of, I don't know. But I tell you, 21 megabit per second connection rate really sucks. So that's pathetic. Because that card is actually supposed to be capable of, I think it was about 460 or 480 megabits per second from what I read online. So yeah, it's definitely there's an issue somewhere. But that ribbon cable is known to have issues that connects the card to the motherboard. Generally, when it has a problem, it's usually it can't find the internet card, right? Or your Bluetooth goes offline, or both, right? Nobody's really said anything about, you know, sluggier internet connection rate. So it's kind of like, well, maybe some people just don't notice it. I don't know. Maybe they expect it to be slow because it's an older Mac. But you should try this thing on gigabit Ethernet. Holy cow. It is really fast. But anyway, so that's the purposes. That's what I've, you know, got out. I mean, $5 for an old Mac white laptop, and then $40 for a power supply. That's just like, I'm still shaking my head going, I can't believe that guy at Value Village took all those Mac power supplies in his arms, didn't touch this thing. It's like, come on, nothing is that bad. Everything is fixable, right? But I guess he kind of thought that, you know what, it's a really old thing, he really didn't need it, some sucker would buy it. Well, you know what, the some sucker turned out to be me for $5, and I just plugged in a power supply to my MacBook Pro 2012, and the thing works perfect. So, you know, nothing wrong with that. Anyways, so that's my collection, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of enjoying my collection. I like it, you know. I'm getting a lot of use out of the 2009, and I'm getting a lot of use out of the 2012. I just downloaded a whackload more programs at my buddy's house yesterday that'll work on even the 07, so I got the next week worth of filtering through all that software, because there's like 15 gigs worth of stuff I downloaded to sort it out between my machines, because some of the stuff will actually run on my eMac and my older iMac as well. So, because I got one of those old fish tank style blue guys, and so yeah, we got a lot of software and more to download yet. I fully intend on getting these things all rigged up for anything I want to do with them.
So, but anyway, that's the end of the video for that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Stay tuned for more. If you're not subbed to the channel, you know, smash the sub thing and the bell for notifications when I upload more stuff. I have some more tech videos that are going to be coming soon as well, among other things that I've got planned up in my mind. I just got to get them organized and done for you guys. So, yeah, kudos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.